Right, go. Jesus Christ.
Welcome to ADHDerpCast. I am Stephen.
And I guess I'm still Harv.
You still are. How are things? How are things? How are you? How have things been? What's going on? It's been a few weeks and we're both really fucking out of practice.
Man, I'm loving our new setup. Right?
Yes.
So just huge shout out to our mate Louise, Dr. Louise Cleary. We might have to cut this out if she doesn't want to be mentioned, but she's letting us use her lovely little office here down in Dalkey, and it's gorgeous and it's really nice.
Yeah, very impressed with the space.
It's lovely to be in a space where, you know, you can feel comfortable and not just, full of shit everywhere.
Yeah, like the fucking graveyard of Harv's previous
Everything's
hobbies. Yeah. So much shit in that place. I do like your office space though. I think it's really cool.
It's a lovely office. It's just there's too much stuff. Like there's almost probably like 3 houses and 3 families worth of stuff in there just from the last 5 years or so.
Plus like fucking everything else. Like
it's like a dumping ground half the time. Like
and there's like 3D printing stuff and guitars and fucking
like stupidly me, I love to go completely out of the way to make things like big and excessive. So like my desk, my desk
it's
is like,
huge.
It's like, I don't know, 6 foot one side and 8 foot the other side.
It's like an L-shaped couch, but as a desk.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's cool. I like it. It is good
cool.
for, like, it was perfect for what we were using it for. You're giving a little shout out to your bruises.
Oh, the bruises, yeah. So I fell down the stairs.
Flashing the guns.
I've no guns left anymore. They're long gone. Rachel showed me a picture the other day of when I was going to the gym, and I nearly turned gay on myself.
I'm going to need to see that. I remember there was one picture on Instagram that was you on the beach, like holding up.
Oh yeah.
That was that reaffirmed my gayness.
Because you needed that, like.
Yeah, it was a little recharge. But I'm going to need to see the Rachel picture.
It's literally just me pushing the buggy, right?
Okay.
But I was going to the gym. My arms were lovely and svelte. They were bigger than usual.
Okay. They're already pretty tanky.
I probably came out of the gym,
so you had the fresh pump,
recently enough.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at myself now, having been, 8 months out of the gym probably, which is just disgusting to think about. And looking back, it's like a completely different person.
What was your routine in the gym? Like, what would you do? Like, were you like a supplement bro? Or?
No, I wasn't into supplements. I took creatine.
So yes, you were.
Which, well, no, the creatine is the second most studied substance on the planet, right?
Yeah.
After caffeine. And studies and doctors and everyone says that, like, not medical advice, that everybody should be taking it.
Yeah.
It's so important for, muscle health.
Basically,
even cognitive health, it's really important for.
Yeah. It's like super important for protein absorption or something. Or something along those lines.
I can't remember exactly the specifics of it because it's been so long since how we go.
Yeah.
ADHD brains when we're looking at stuff, especially stuff that I'm gonna absorb myself. I'm doing all the research into this.
Then as soon as you drop it, gone.
Yeah, completely out of the mind. But look, I think from the research that I did way back, everybody should be looking into creatine to just take as a daily supplement because it's so good, it's so important. And it's not about building muscle. It's not like what people think, steroids going to give you huge, big muscles. You're not going to turn into a fucking bodybuilder overnight.
But it helps your body. I remember something along those.
It helps your muscles absorb
protein,
liquids. Like, so when you're taking creatine, you have to take it with a certain amount of water.
Yeah.
Right. So what actually happens is when you're kind of starting your dosages, your body, the creatine helps your muscles absorb water.
Yeah.
And your muscles get a little bit bigger. But you're essentially retaining the water in your muscles. So you put on a bit of weight, right?
#swole.
Yeah. But that's kind of like a side effect.
Yeah.
That's not what you're doing it for. You're doing it for the performance, the cognitive health, the just general health.
And the positive failure, because like what people don't really realize about working out, what you're actually doing is like tearing your muscle,
Yeah.
rebuilding the muscle and improving it time over and over and over.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're like ripping it and
So
repairing it.
It helps with recovery.
Yeah.
It helps with like kind of staving off serious like DOMs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Delayed onset muscle.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So you go in, you do
DOMs
a
are
really
different in my world.
you go in and you do a really heavy session.
That's also the same with DOMs in my world.
You're sore the next day.
That's the same with DOMs in my
Which are
world.
really sore the day after that.
Same.
Fuck's sake. I'm not squirreling my way out of this one.
No, you're in.
Oh God. Right.
That's same in my world.
So anyway, delayed onset muscle soreness. It helps with that. And I think what they say is like maybe you could get 1 to 2 to 3 extra reps out of your session if you're, kind of up on creatine.
Okay. Just quick side note.
Yeah.
When the fuck did we become like a Workout Bro podcast?
Yeah.
We'll talk about our session.
I wish we were, because Mike like energized me to get back into it. I really need to. And fucking so annoying. The guy next door bought like a whole big gym rack, and he's got it in his front room. So every time I'm going out to do the bins or whatever, I see the rack there and I'm like, oh, I wish I had one of them in my house. Like,
this is now you're actually reminding me of something, because Graham's been talking about this kind of thing, because when we were getting married, we were heavy in the gym. We were getting up at like 5, going to a PT, doing like really intense workout stuff. We were both quite in shape, still fat fucks, but in shape fat fucks.
I remember you were really skinny.
Yeah, we were
like, you looked really good.
Put a lot of work into it. And the PT we were using at the time, he's still a mate and he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But Graham's been looking at this other guy who he's been his whole thing is that like people have kids, people have lives, people have like really like intense schedules that they can't like focus on like going to the gym 5 or 6 times a week and managing their diets in that kind of way. And it's I was looking at his results, because that's his whole thing, that he builds plans for people around that, and that people can't get to the gym or can't buy big racks.
I could. I just don't have anywhere to put it.
No, you cannot. Fuck off.
I'll if I want something, I'll find a way to pay for it.
I know, that's true.
No, that came out wrong. No.
And I didn't jump on that.
Okay. I could see it in the back of your eye.
So his whole thing is that he works to people's schedules, and you're very, 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 very busy.
But the other thing about me is I have done this since I was like 14. And again, with the research, like I've done all of the research. I've read all of the everythings. I know what I need to do, and I know how to do it, and I know how to do it properly. I spent a good like 3-4 months last year with a PT, which just kind of like
reinforced the knowledge.
Reinforced exactly. That I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now he did help me with some, smaller things and techniques and stuff like that, which was great. But the accountability, even though I've talked about not being accountable before, the accountability of going to the trainer because I've paid him like 300 quid or whatever it is. Like, I have this appointment, I go and I can't get out of it because I paid for it. Yeah. That was the thing that really pushed me. But I was before I started the masters, before I started the coaching, it was like executive coaching. Yeah. I was going to do PT, but I couldn't get the funds together.
As a PT, or you're going to...
I was going to do a course to become a PT. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. I have a program. I could modify my program if I wanted to.
So the problem is motivation.
The problem is time.
It isn't.
That's
an illusion.
It's not though.
It is though.
Because I was explaining this. So in the coaching course that I'm doing now, we do 3.5 hours. 3 hours? 3 hours on a Thursday evening, right? Yeah. And within that, we do breakout rooms where we coach each other based on what we've learned. Yeah. And I was saying this to my coach, my peer coach, the other day. It was like, I have all of we were talking about resources, for how can you achieve your goals. Yeah. I have all of the resources. The only resource that I struggle with is time. And the time exists in different ways.
Yeah.
And it exists in different chaotic ways. So, like, a normal household might be people get up and go to school and then, go to work, come home, do your dinner, then go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Get up in the morning early, go to the gym. That doesn't work for me in my house because it's too chaotic. Every single day is different.
Yeah.
My daughter is 2.5. She's potty training at the moment. She's waking me up in the middle of the night to go for wheeze. She wakes up from anywhere from like 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning, which was my kind of time to go to the gym before.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got school, we've got things during the day, and job hunting, and studying, and all this other stuff. But every single day is completely different. So there's no... The morning slot was the only available slot.
Yeah.
And that's out the window now with Evie being kind of just chaotic in the morning.
Yeah. It's flexible time management is...
And evenings as well.
Yeah.
Evenings make sense.
Yeah.
But evenings I've got... We meet on Monday evening.
And Wednesday evening.
And Wednesday evening. Thursday evening is coaching. And then it's the weekend.
I saw... Well, you forgot Tuesday.
Tuesday is the only open day.
And Friday.
Can't go to the gym once a week.
And Friday.
Friday, weekend. Again, you never know what's going on the weekend.
Sure. Weekends are chaotic, but the time is there. And If
I could interject again, I know I'm doing it loads.
That's okay.
The problem is a solid box of time.
Yes.
I have time throughout the day. Like I could sit down and do, 5 minutes while I'm doing something else, lifting a few weights or whatever. But that's kind of not how I like to do it. Do you know what I mean? I want an hour.
Okay.
To go and do my bits.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Then you're screwed.
Yeah. I just have to be fat. Like
yeah, that's just there. I can't solve your problem there.
Yeah.
Tot sauce, bro.
I know. But look, I'm trying to work on the diet, and I think the diet is one of the main things,
For me, diet is paramount. Yeah. Like, I can do all the lifts, I can do all the exercise and stuff, and I can get my motivation to do that and do all the, I feel great doing this, and I never do. But for me, the diet is the hardest part to maintain, and it's always the first part that will fall off. And I have this extreme habit of going extreme in terms of diet, and it's like I'm only going to eat chia seeds 3 times a day, and things like that. And Graham's he's on his little fucking binge again of I'm gonna fry up some spinach.
I'm gonna fry up some spinach,
but with no oil.
Okay,
stuff I'm gonna have some chicken and broccoli and spinach, and I'm going to put seeds on it and shit like that, and thinking I'm fucking the business. And I drop loads of weight, and then go put chicken fillet roll, and then it all goes out the window. So diet is always my big downfall.
So that's we had no plan with this conversation.
Yeah,
we've kind of gone down this route, and one of the big things with ADHD that I found is binge eating.
Yeah,
and binge drinking as well, which I don't do anymore. But so tell me about your experiences, just generally. Obviously you're talking about it now, but kind of expand on it.
Talk about the eating aspect.
How has it been? Reflecting on it from the ADHD perspective.
So this is something I've thought about a lot, and we haven't talked about this in any kind of expansive way. But it's something I was trying to figure out a way that I could elaborate on it. But for me, because it is a big part of ADHD, and that kind of impulsive behavior is a big part of ADHD. But for me, it's kind of magnified, and it's kind of squared, because I also have impulse control disorder, which is a comorbidity, commonly diagnosed with ADHD, and it's something I feel deserves that we dig into properly. But that is a big issue in terms of eating and stuff. Basically, when you boil it right down to what it is, if something feels good, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I've tended to, without knowing that I had that diagnosis, I only got the diagnosis at the same time I got the ADHD one. Without knowing I had that, I knew I had that as a personality trait.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was a stop button and a go button, and there was no in between. If I was drinking, I was drinking. If I was to go down the drug route, which I never did, I knew that there was off drugs and there was on drugs, and everything that would entail. Because I knew that once I got dopamine from something, I was going to seek it out more and more and more and more. And not even that, I found when I was getting those dopamine hits from whatever behaviors I was engaging in, it turned off my brain. So I was able to then use it as a form of medication. I know you're laughing because I know we've talked off camera about what that actually meant.
Well, that's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it's so similar to how I've been as well.
Yeah.
You know, growing up and stuff like that. It's self-medication. It's the escapism of life. It's like when you're talking about, you know, there's on or off.
Yeah.
I'm drinking or I'm not drinking. I was exactly the same. And
Yeah.
I could not stop drinking until I physically couldn't drink anymore. I
couldn't stop drinking either, but in a different way. But yeah, so that's a secondary issue for me. And food does the same thing. So I'm obviously like restricted in certain ways. Like I can only eat so much.
Yeah.
I can only eat until I don't feel good anymore. And I'm quite lucky in the fact that I have a natural stop point. Some people don't. Some people can just keep eating, keep eating. And like if it feels good, could have like 7 or 8 meals at the one time and stuff. And I've seen people do that. I can't do that. Like once I'm full, I'm full. But I will seek out what feels good. And yeah, I find that kind of restrictive diet or being in a calorie deficit really hard, because the second I say to myself, right, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to moderate, or I'm going to not like, and that's like people talk about like, oh, you don't have to restrict yourself. You can have a moderated diet. That's like, you're still able to eat the treats and things like that. The second I tell myself that I'm restricting myself, or I'm calorie counting, or I'm putting myself into a calorie deficit, or I'm going to do portion control, starving. I cannot explain the depth of the hunger.
Right, yeah.
Excuse me. It's like I have a worm inside me and I need to feed it constantly. So, and it does not stop. I was doing this kind of recently. I can't remember why. I was kind of like watching what I was eating. But I ended up just like, I had my dinner, and then I had like a share bag of crisps, and then I had like a round of sandwiches, and like sweets, and then a bowl of cornflakes, and like over the spice to like 2 or 3 hours. And
that sounds like a normal day for me.
Yeah, but for Graham as well sometimes. But for me, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
But there was nothing was filling the hole. So see, I just like to congratulate myself that I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it didn't stop. And there was no turning it off. And that's it's fairly extreme in that way. So that's kind of my experience with the food side of it.
Yeah.
Alcohol was kind of the same, but less alcoholic, if that makes sense. Like I never felt like I needed to do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, right, if I'm going to drink, there's not going to be any drinks left at the end of the night. Yeah. I'm going to like the bottle of JD, I'm buying it knowing I'm going to throw out an empty bottle tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I never felt like I never was at the stage where it's like, I need to get to the weekend so I can drink. Or it started to creep back into the Thursday, the Wednesday kind of thing. But like if I was going out, or if I was going to a mate's house and we were drinking, it was on, you know.
Yeah, I was exactly the same, and it's funny because, you know, one of the things that, the literature says and experience says is that people with ADHD have very addictive personalities. And reflecting back on, growing up and stuff like that, I didn't have that with alcohol, which you would expect. And obviously you didn't either.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, if I was going out, I was going out and I wasn't coming home until I had to come home.
Yeah.
I was going out, and when the night ended, I was looking for somewhere else to go. If the drink was gone, I was looking for more.
Yeah. I used to bargain with myself, like let's say I was out on a Friday and I was up for work in the Saturday morning, and I'd be like, right, it's 2:00 in the morning. That means I need 7 hours, or I have 7 hours left before I have to be in work. I have 6 hours left. It'd be fine. I can have a few more drinks.
Yeah.
Right, it's 6:00. I might as well just let myself sober up and just go straight into work without sleep.
Yeah.
The amount of times that happened.
Well, okay.
So no, I was 20.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a different kind of metabolism back then. But yeah, like that, I used to bargain with myself all the time to keep the party going.
I was incapable of that because, like, when I drank, I'd literally die for days, like, hungover, just completely in an awful state for multiple days.
Yeah.
Even just getting out of bed was too much sometimes, So I never really had that. There was a short period of maybe a few months where I was working in retail, and I did have that, where, because I was just sitting behind a desk, not really seeing an awful lot of customers, I was able to do it. I could just hide away, but I was going into work late, because I was 2-3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Still hung over to death, grabbing a coffee and a sausage sambo on the way into work, and then sitting behind the desk trying to hide. And Jesus, I got sacked from that job. It's the only time I've ever had any issues like with work.
Yeah.
And it was completely reasonable, but that kind of few months was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
It was in like such a weird spiral that time.
When you're in it, it's like you think you're on top of the world, but with also this crushing depression and all this kind of stuff. But like it's such a weird dichotomy that people don't understand unless they go through it. That like when you're experiencing that, it's such a weird, like, you have this superficial, I'm living the best life ever.
That's what it is, yeah.
But you're hating yourself at the same time. And it's only on reflection that you're like, oh, I was really depressed. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I empathize with that one. I've been there.
Yeah. And so on the other side of it, like, that's the excess side.
Yeah.
How about the other side? Do you ever have any issues, or have you had any issues with like not eating or stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, like, this is something, and Graham notices this more than I do. Like, if I'm in a project, or I'm like focused on a game, or like just kind of my brain's somewhere else, I completely forget to eat.
Yeah.
And it's like, he'll be like, what did you eat today? Like, there's been times where, like, let's say I'm off for the day and he is in work, and it's a day where he's in the office. Mm-hmm. He'll like, and I'm like playing a game or whatever at home, because it's like, yay, free time. He'll come home, and let's just assume in this narrative that it's winter, so it's dark when he gets home. The lights won't be on. Mm-hmm. I'll be lit up by the TV screen playing whatever game I'm playing, and he'll be like, "Have you moved? Did you eat today? Did you do anything? Are you sitting in a pool of your own filth?" And it's like,
yes to all.
Yes to all. So yeah, I completely, like, if I'm in something, I'm like, there's no switch off from that either. And that's another common ADHD thing, of hyperfocus.
Yeah, so I was thinking of the food thing, because I'm exactly the same, I often forget to eat and drink and all that kind of stuff.
When you say that to people, they're like, how are you a fat fuck then?
Yeah, because you binge then.
Exactly.
It's like, I haven't eaten all day. Now I need to get, I'll order a
7
takeaway.
chickens.
Yeah, I'll order a takeaway. While I'm waiting for the takeaway to come, I'll have a packet of crisps and a bar.
Yeah.
And then when you're finished your takeaway, I'll have a pint of ice cream. Mm-hmm. And it's all right before bed because you haven't eaten all day.
Yeah. Quick side note, what's your takeaway order?
Depends where I'm going.
Chinese.
I'm a very bland person.
Okay.
So like I like a 5-in-1.
I do like a 5-in-1.
I'm like really intolerant to garlic. So
I never knew that.
I love shredded chicken.
Oh, I do like.
But I can't have garlic on it.
For our
So
non-Irish,
it's just so plain, like.
for our non-Irish listeners and watchers,
Yeah.
what's a 5-in-1?
A 5-in-1. So in my Chinese, a 5-in-1 is. So let's start with a 3-in-1, right?
Yeah.
So
back to basics.
You've got rice,
Yeah.
curry sauce. I usually get barbecue sauce. I don't like curry. And chips
You don't like curry?
No. in a tray.
We can just stop recording. This
This
is over.
There's
I literally have curry stains on me right now.
imagine a list of all of the things that normal people eat.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are on my list of things that I eat. Wow. I literally eat fuck all. Like I'm so picky. I'm not
really
too,
plain.
Not too bad as I used to be. I've kind of experimented and moved out of my comfort zone with it. But another ADHD thing, eating the same thing all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so sauce, rice, and chips in a tray, 3-in-1, 4-in-1. Sauce, rice, chips, and maybe chicken, beef.
Typically like chicken balls.
In your place?
Most places, chicken balls.
Yeah, really?
4-in-1, yeah.
Okay.
Or they do shredded chicken.
Yeah. So that's the 4-in-1. I've also got it with chicken fried rice, which is nice. So chicken fried rice, chips, and sauce.
That's called the special tray or something, I think.
Okay, right. So then the 5-in-1 has the chicken balls and the shredded chicken in it.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get like 2 chicken balls and a bit of shredded
None
chicken.
of this is in any way Chinese.
I know, yeah, I know. So yeah, that's what I get sometimes. I like chicken fried rice as well.
Yeah,
very plain, like but like that's my Chinese. I don't eat any like Chinese food.
No, I do. I tend like when I'm ordering. Graham's very plain. He'll get like chicken balls, chips, and curry sauce.
Yeah,
and that's like there's no deviation.
Yeah,
from that. I'll tend to go to like the chef's recommendation section.
Well, la di da,
and pick out. Go like, ooh, Tinjin duck. That looks nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Or like char sui, something like that.
Are you having a stroke?
It's a pork thing.
Right.
Pork belly, and it's very, very nice. You
don't give a shit. You just eat anything.
I'll put that in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, we know that. Yeah.
Except for tomatoes. Tomatoes are the fucking devil.
Why do you not like tomatoes?
I think it's a texture thing.
Texture.
Because I like tomato sauce.
Yeah.
I like in pasta. I don't like salsa because it's too tomato bitty.
Tomatoey.
But like actual tomatoes.
Yeah.
Cooked raw devil.
Yeah. What about onions?
I used to like the texture of onions. Used to make me gag.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I've kind of been okay with it. Raw onions are still a hell no. Crispy onions
are the bomb. I fucking hate onions.
Best thing in the world.
But crispy onions, because of the texture.
Or onion rings. I like onion rings.
I don't like onion rings.
I like onion rings on a burger.
I don't like onion rings.
Well, go fuck yourself. No, onion rings are nice on a burger.
Right. How do we get here? Where are we? Fucking talking about our Chinese orders. I fucking hate tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes.
So this is an ADHD podcast about tomatoes.
Well, I'm sure there's other ADHD people out there who have like about tomatoes.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of kids in our house who have been diagnosed, right? And it's a similar thing, you know. One of them eats fucking everything, doesn't give a shit, and then the other one is plain as all hell. Will only eat the plainest stuff, you know. Textures, especially similar to me.
Yeah.
Is just no go. Like those kind of squidgy and soggy and it's like gloopy, fucking tomatoey, oniony type things. No,
I'm gonna have to show you the dinner or lunch I made the other day. I got cocoa noodles,
right,
and I got pizza because like when we're having pizza at the weekend, sometimes we'll make our own pizzas and like put our own pepperoni and stuff on it. To try and do like kind of rather than spend €40 in Apache, like we will get like frozen pizzas and pretty them up.
Yeah.
So I got my cocoa noodles, made my cocoa noodles, ripped up some pepperoni, put that in with it, and then made cheese sauce and cooked it all up into cheese sauce, and it looked like an omelette vomit.
Nice.
And it was the best thing fucking ever. And I sent a picture to a few people, and it literally looked like a plate of like. Do you remember like in joke shops and you could buy joke vomit?
Yeah.
That's literally what it looked
right,
like.
Okay.
But it was fucking divine.
So I wouldn't eat the cheese sauce.
I know.
I wouldn't eat the noodles.
Nope.
What else was pepperoni? I eat pepperoni.
Okay.
So it's just those 3 things?
Yeah.
I'll have the pepperoni on its own, thanks.
Okay. I'll just, no. A friend of mine sent me his spaghetti bolognese. And it was me.
I feel like this is a euphemism.
No, it was actually like he made his spaghetti bolognese, but with like spaghetti hoops.
Nice.
Like it looks like, to most people it looks horrible.
Yeah.
But it looked lovely. And he like had his mince, but the sauce for the mince was like ketchup.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
He calls it his special bolognese.
Nice.
So
should change it to special balls.
yeah, I will float that with him
too.
See if he accepts that as a proposal. So yeah, that's that. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, look, we talked about going back to the gym.
Yep.
Being too fat for ourselves.
Agreed.
Kind of being severely ADHD, but not getting addicted to alcohol, even though
we did, but just not.
Should point.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, we did. Yeah. So today, I'm going to be addicted to alcohol.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, I'll be grand. I won't want alcohol.
I thought you meant literally you're going to head off and get like a fucking.
I
vodka.
don't really drink anymore.
Yeah.
I stopped years and years ago, and so this is one of the things that fucking pisses me off. Right. All of the kind of internet knowledge and kind of accepted thing is stop drinking. Alcohol's terrible for you. Once you stop drinking, you'll feel so much better. That didn't happen for me.
Nope.
That didn't happen for me at all. Like I stopped drinking for 4 years solid, and I didn't feel any different than when I was drinking. Now, when I was drinking, I'd probably be drinking, once a week or less, once every 2-3 weeks, depending. When I was younger, I drank an awful lot, so maybe like 2-3 times a week. But before I stopped, it wasn't an awful lot. But I didn't have this massive shift of, hey, you're a non-drinker now. You have this angelic skin, your body doesn't creak anymore, all this kind of stuff. I didn't lose any weight.
Yeah.
Which is one of the big things that people say, stop drinking and you lose a lot of weight. Didn't happen.
Same with fizzy drinks. People are always like, oh, I stopped drinking fizzy drinks.
Yeah.
And I lost 4 stone. And I'm like, I stopped drinking fizzy drinks and gained weight. Because I was trying to replace it. But
oh God.
I was the same with drinking. Because I tend to mostly not drink. But I don't say I'm not a drinker because I find in Irish society, if you say you're not a drinker, it raises alarm bells.
It's changing. It's changing quite a bit, and you can tell by the amount of new 0.0 things, non-alcoholic,
and how acceptable those are. Yeah.
Like I remember the first time me and Rach were out for dinner, and we seen a non-alcoholic wine.
Yeah.
And I was blown away, and it was delicious. Because I like to have a glass of wine when we're out for a meal, not to drink, but just for the flavor as you're having.
And how it pairs with food and stuff.
Now saying that, a blasphemer, and I don't like red wine, but I love a steak, so I'll have white wine with my steak.
That's totally fair.
I
think a lot of the wine food stuff is a lot of wankology.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna get blasted for that, but I do think it's a lot of no one really cares. But the fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I tend to not drink as well, and I'm mostly a non-drinker. I don't tend to really go out at weekends. Yeah. But if something comes up, I'll go by how I'm feeling. Like if I want to have a few drinks when we're out somewhere, I'll try and do that now and try and moderate it. If I'm in that kind of, if I'm I'll have a few drinks, I'll have 1 or 2 and try and put effort into actually doing it that way.
Yeah.
But most times I'll be nah, I'm just gonna have Coke. Not cocaine. Coca-Cola.
So I think in the last year maybe I've tried to have a drink 3 times. So myself and Rach were away for a night.
I remember you sent me a picture of it.
I was like, I'm gonna get myself a nice margarita. I love a margarita, and it's very hard to find a good margarita.
Good one,
because you get people who put sugar on it instead of salt
on the rim,
and all this stuff. But I had a sip and I just couldn't. I just left it there.
Yep.
And then I think I tried to have a drink at Christmas, bottle or whatever it was, didn't even finish a bottle. And then we were away in, I think it was Lanzarote last September or so. And we were away with all the kids and Rachel's dad. And we had kind of split apartments. And Rachel's dad came over to our apartment and we were all going to have a drink, sit down. We found all the stuff for Fat Frog.
Oh, yes.
For people who don't know, Smirnoff Ice, Bacardi Orange. You can't seem to get Bacardi Orange here anymore.
No.
Like, it doesn't exist. And Blue Wicket. So I found it in the shop just up the road from us in Lanzarote, and I bought it for Rach because she was dying for one for a long time. And I was like, let's, have a few drinks, celebrate, enjoy the holiday. So Joe, Rachel's dad, comes over to our apartment in the evening. Rachel's sitting outside having the drinks, and I sit down, have one sip, and I'm like, just have
not feeling
no
that vibe
interest
anymore.
in this at all.
That,
And can't remember when I drank before that. Like,
I am kind of the same. Like, now I do like poolside drinks when we're on a sun holiday, and that's the last time we were on a sun holiday was with Juliet, so I didn't have poolside drinks on that occasion. And also Ritalin tends to limit alcohol pretty extremely.
I think we had a conversation about this. Like,
yeah,
you don't. This is medical advice.
Yeah.
Do not drink when you're taking Ritalin.
It like, I don't know the full details of it, but it magnifies.
You can.
Well, can seriously
I'm
damage
probably
yourself.
very, very kind of over the top, afraid of these things. But like, I remember reading about it, and the thing that stood out to me was you could get brain damage. Like, I don't want any brain damage.
No
please.
thanks. Yeah,
Don't give me brain damage.
but
I'd
on a
rather
kind
just
of
not have a drink.
regular level, it magnifies the effects and like intensifies the effects of the alcohol and stuff like that.
Right.
Lowers inhibitions even further, and they're already fairly low for me.
Yeah.
And just makes everything peak. The peaks and troughs are more peaky troughy.
So the Ritalin is magnifying the negative aspects of alcohol.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's a no-go. I tend to, like, if I know there's going to be an occasion where there's alcohol around and I'm like, I might have a drink or two.
Yeah.
I'll tend to skip the old Ritalin dose on those days. And I've done it a few occasions where it's like I've skipped the Ritalin dose and then it's like, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Mood. And then I miss the Ritalin. Like, I should have taken my brain on her. But yeah, so it's that's the way that one goes.
Yeah, so I think the last time I was looking at it, it said like, make sure there's 15 hours between your Ritalin dose and when you're drinking.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But look it up if you're going to drink when you're taking Ritalin. Don't take chances, please, with your brain.
Yes. It's a volatile mix. So if you're going to, people will do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Make sure you educate yourself on whatever choices you make.
Don't come crying to us.
Seek medical advice.
Right. What were we talking about? I'm enjoying this just random bullshit.
Yeah.
Kind of throwing. This is how it was the first couple of times.
Yeah, it was.
When
we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we weren't kind of overdoing it and trying to kind of, specify what we're talking about. So it actually feels like proper back to basics. Even though the planning sessions that we've been doing recently have been gearing towards the opposite direction.
There's our next topic.
This is nice.
So we're having our, like, this episode is kind of a let's reset things. Let's have a chat. We've got our new studio space. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Dr. Louise. Sorry. And everything's kind of nice. Going forward, we're kind of going to be splitting the way the episodes work a bit. There's going to be like episodes like this that are kind of chatty, backy, forty. But there's then also going to be episodes that are going to be very focused, very topic driven, where we're going to be talking about actual things. So that's kind of the plan, the way we're kind of going to do things. I have no idea what I was going to say.
Yeah, because you
I started in 3 different places.
It was like Stephen was back to normal there, and then you went into fucking on camera Stephen.
Yeah.
Leave him behind. He's not allowed. He's not allowed
to be here. Yeah, we got that feedback early on. So
yeah. Look, I think everybody started listening when we're having these kind of just open, random conversations, which this is the first one we've had in a while, and it's really nice just to fucking talk bollocks.
Yeah.
But still kind of in an ADHD perspective. But also we want to kind of help people as well while we're having these conversations. So as Stephen was saying, we want to try to have episodes that are kind of more focused. Still we'll have the kind of conversation and stuff like that. But we'll have come prepared, you know, with topical notes, maybe some data, maybe some, you know, specific tips and tricks or whatever.
And some pretty editing that shows things on the screen.
Oh, God. Did I agree to that?
No, but I'm throwing you under the bus now.
We need to start fivering this out, fivering the editing now. But
yeah, cool. Deadly Buzz. Everyone's happy. Yay.
Okay.
So I think we'll leave this one here. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, fine.
I'm Stephen. That's Harv. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, give us as much feedback as you can. Let us know what you think of this wonderful office space and what we can do to make it pretty and what we can do to make us pretty. Because I'm a vain fuck at the end of the day. And yeah, that's it. Bye!
Bye!